Kev, how exciting is the opportunity of Sunday's match?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you work all year, all season to get to a point to give you an opportunity. So all credit to everyone who's played their part and getting there. But listen, we're going there knowing what we've got to do, and that's the most important thing for me. And it's not the occasion; it's what it entails. The game itself. What that looks like for us.
What will leading a Southend United team out as head coach mean to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Delighted and really proud, of course. Hopefully we've got many more days to come that, with success for the football club, and this is an opportunity that, we want to take. Listen, it will be a proud moment, but I keep saying this: the game itself is the most important thing.
We faced all sorts of challenges in the last few months, and then more recently in the playoff games, and how tight and close they were. How well did these shared experiences with the coaching staff, the players, and the fans both going into this game, and how well does it prepare you all?
Hopefully, yeah. Listen, hopefully it all plays a part. It's shown the togetherness, the resilience that we've got, which I don't think was ever in question. I think it's shown we're a good side as well, by the way. We've been stronger, like the second half of the season, in terms of number of points we picked up. So that tells you, I think, more about us as a team, of where we've got to as a squad. So listen, the playoff game's a cup game, so anything can happen. What you've got to do is come out the right side of results, and we've managed to do that. There's different ways of doing it. Of course, Oldham have been pretty seamless getting through their eliminator and semi-final. So, all it does is get you to this moment, and what happens from here on is the most important thing.
And Oldham are another sizable team that have fallen out of the Football League recently and relishing an opportunity to get back up there. What do you make of their season and the challenge that they're going to pose?
Yeah, I think there's some similarities in terms of, Mickey's got his squad together now, with injury free, and I think even since we played them, a lot of changes. But a really strong team, strength in depth right throughout, great experience, and some real good players with Fondop getting the goals, of course, and Garner up top, and what they've got in the squad is really strong, and they've shown that in the two games they've had since the eliminator and the semi-final.
Nice one, thanks, Kev.
Kevin, can you talk me through what the last week has been like since Gus Scott Morris's penalty went into the back of that net in Gloucestershire?
Yeah, I think the emotion of that night was brilliant, and you should enjoy them moments, of course, and the fans who've travelled so many miles, and going Gateshead, going Rochdale, going Forest Green. So they deserve nights like that, and I keep saying they lead you to these moments, and that's the most important thing. It's been pretty normal this week in terms of how we've trained, what it looks like. I think the playoffs this year have posed challenges in different ways in terms of timescales of games, the difference or the days in between them. At the end of the season, there's a break, or 10 days or whatever it is, then there's 6. So different challenges. So you just monitor training and adjust accordingly, and that's all we've done, and kept it as normal as possible.
I know you've probably done a few more media interviews in a week than you normally do. Over the last couple of days, maybe whether it's media or friends or family, what would you say is the question you've been posed most often in that time?
Probably, what would it mean? I think because of my affiliation with the club, probably because of I've been here a long time as a player, etc. Listen, my answer is everything, of course. And that's an easy one. I don't allow myself to get carried away or look too far ahead, because I've got too much respect for our opponents on Sunday. And our focus is on the game, and that's absolutely where it is.
Definitely. You talk about that, obviously, like you say, maybe whether it's your own reflection or how you guys build yourself up as a team, but to what extent have you found yourselves reflecting on the previous times that this club has had, the tough times that have sort of led to this moment that's coming on Sunday?
I think it's only when it's brought up in interviews and stuff, of course, and it is the story of what the club is. So we don't shy away from that, and we should be proud of the fact that we have a football club first and foremost. We've got an incredible fan base who back the football club. We've got brilliant people working at the club. And of course the players who have done unbelievable, and everyone deserves credit, and we shouldn't dismiss what's gone on before, but we always look forward as well of what's going to come.
There's varied experiences sort of players in your squad in terms of these playoff scenarios. Some have been to Wembley, some have won promotion playoff finals. How have the players and the coaching yourselves been using that experience as well to preview what is to be expected at Wembley?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's no harm having that experience, because obviously the day that's in it, and it's different. The build-up's bigger, but it will come down to the game, and that's all we're focused on in terms of from the staff and that, getting everything right and prepared that we need to do. All the other stuff with it's brilliant and enjoyable. You've got to do it, but the game is the most important thing.
And it's great that, obviously, with all this focus going on, you guys are keeping that focus on that game. How, as coaches, do you keep your player and the players themselves keep that mentality focused straight on the game?
Yeah, listen, as I say, it's just keep everything as normal as possible, and the stuff outside that's you've got to deal with, but as normal as possible, and it's managing the players in terms of training loads. What it looks like, the detail of the game plan and everything that goes with it. That's been as normal as possible. But listen, the players are good as gold. They're looking forward to it, but all they want to do is win and achieve success.
Absolutely. If I may ask you, obviously the early build-up towards this was around the allocation, which has fortunately increased as well. I mean, I suppose as teams you've kept away from that with preparations on the pitch, but if there's family, friends, how have you guys found that?
No, absolutely, and I think it's right I think you've got to touch on it, because it has become something that you've got the fifth tier of English football being hosted in the National Stadium, and they can't get enough people in. That's the nuts and bolts of it, which is madness. This would have been put in place a long time ago, I'm guessing. So I'm guessing as an Oldham have put a spanner in the works in terms of the number of people that will come. And to say, listen, we have it with family and friends as well who want tickets, because from speaking to the club, we would have taken close to 40,000, we believe. Oldham as well, a huge, huge club. We've taken, they'll take 20, 30,000 as well. And to travel that numbers, you could have had 60, 70,000 in the stadium for the fifth tier of the English pyramid, which is unbelievable. So something's gone on that's probably not right, if I'm being honest. And I'm just gutted for fans that have missed out because of the situation. And it always seems to be the fans who suffer when there's bureaucracy or anything else going on. I know people, you can do it by booking coaches, but then that has its own logistical stuff. The club have got to fork out for the coaches before they receive stuff coming back in. So I always think if you want to find a way, you'll find a way. If you want to do something, you do it. But it won't deter from what will be a great occasion for both sets of clubs.
Like you say, in the wake of that, so much extraordinary response, like the Echoes petition, like so many people getting involved. What to you does it say about both Southend and Oldham National League football communities?
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think that the pyramid of the English football tells you that would happen nowhere else in the world. And credit to Oldham, credit to Southend, what we're doing to get as many fans there as possible, because of two brilliant football clubs, proper football clubs as well. Oldham have had their success in the Premier League, and I know so many good people there as well. And for Southend, and people going above and beyond to try and make it there. So we're incredibly grateful to them, and of course we'll be doing our best for them.
Something you touch on a regular basis is the importance of people. You've talked about it when you've reflected on the times that Southend have had. You talk about, it was on show, at Forest Green when your family came on the pitch. You talk about them so much. Can you give me more of an insight into how the value of sort of family and people is driving what Southend are doing there?
Yeah, I think Southend, listen, it'll be every club, but I can only speak for us and what's gone on at the football club. And you wouldn't have had the football club without people. You're sticking by the club, being loyal to the club. And it is about people and how you treat them, and the response you get from that, and it will always be that for me. We can talk tactics and everything like that, but as a group of players and staff, what they've given all the time, is incredible. And listen, Oldham are no different, of course, but as Southend as a club, I know how special it is.
And of course, what a prize on offer for that laws that's been shown, the place potentially to get back into the English Football League. But Oldham aside, well yourself for playing time there. And they've had a very impressive run coming into these playoffs and getting to this final. What are you expecting? What is it about them that sort of made them such an impressive run going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they've done it a different way to us, of course, and the form they've shown going into the end of the season and the games. Mickey's vastly experienced manager who knows the job inside out. They've got real strength in depth, real good quality and experience in their team, and so that's credit to them. There's similarities in terms of clubs. They've come down the league. It takes a while to adjust to the National League because it is so tough. We've only one up. But they gathered momentum, and that's a credit to Mickey and his staff.
Yeah. But it's really important word, that momentum as well. Southend have had it in bucket loads the last couple of months as well. How valuable could that asset be on Sunday?
Hopefully, time will tell. But we'll make sure we're ready. And, as I keep saying, you cross the white line, and then it's down to the player. There's certain bits you can control from the sideline, but, when you go on there, then it's about performing on the day.
I mean, that day as well, we've talked about the ticket allocation, but today announced 25,000 tickets sold, still potential for more before the close of sales today. How exciting a prospect is that for yourself and for your players?
Yeah, it should be, of course. I think once the game starts, then the focus is on that. And, what I've been there as a player, that you get absorbed in the game and that the number of crowd, etc., goes away. You're focused on the game. But credit to, those who are there, and obviously we want to give them something to cheer at the end.
For yourself, for your Wembley experience as well, what are you expecting the emotion will be like for you?
Yeah, no, just looking forward to it. When I got to playoff finals or finals, Wembley was being rebuilt, and it was Cardiff, so I'm looking forward to it. The experience, I know you look forward to it more and you enjoy it more when you win, and that's the most important thing.
Whatever happens on Sunday, where will the experience of having coaching Southend in a National League playoff final, where will that rank for you?
I don't know. That's probably not an answer something I can answer right now, because listen, I've been at this football club and we've won things. Even under 23s manager, we won stuff, and that's my focus. What comes beyond after the weekend is what it is, and listen, we will be incredibly proud of the players no matter what they do. But focus is winning. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, one last one for me in this last 24-25 press conference for you. I always ask if you have a message for the fans. That's with ahead of this major occasion. What would it be?
No, thank you for everything you've done, for the support they've given us all season. We always say we're not done yet. We don't feel like we're done yet, and we're looking forward to a great game. And they'll be with us, I'm sure, and we look forward for the day with them.
That's good. Best of luck.
Thank you.
How's Colin and James Morton?
Yeah, Colin's still had his groin things, hasn't been able to train. James Morton as well, it's not been able to train yet.
And like you said, at the 2005 playoffs, it was in Cardiff. Was that always a bit And it was still a great day, wasn't it? Don't get me wrong. But the fact that it wasn't Wembley, was that always a little bit annoying in the back of your mind?
Yeah, possibly, because you go as a player, you missed out playing at Wembley because everyone wants to do that. And we got there 3 times. It was all at Cardiff. Like, come on, give me one. Right? So yeah, this obviously makes it maybe a little bit more special.
Yeah, and where would this rank in your achievements? I know what you'll say, but have everything you've been through at Southend and everything come through, where would promotion with this team rank? Yeah,
it'd be right up there, of course. And I think when you're this side of the fence, you feel more responsible for other people. You know, of course, as a player, you can go home at the end of the day and you can control what you control. When you're a manager, then obviously you're looking out for everyone else and you want it for them as much as yourself.